Alright, here we go. Welcome back to Pikmin. Last time, we finished the Distant Spring. We got all the ship pieces there. We're now at 29 out of 30. There's only one left. And we've unlocked the final area, which is the final trial. Now, the final trial is kind of unique in the sense that really it's just, okay, everything that you've learned is just kind of being put into one little area. On top of that, this is also where the final enemy resides, with the final ship piece, obviously. So for now, we'll get out 10 reds. We'll get them going, and then... 80 blues. And I think 10 yellows should be enough. Alright. First thing I'm going to do is take the reds. Obviously, there's some fire geysers here, which means you can only use reds. They're already done, which is great. Now with the yellows, you have to be a little bit more careful. Bring them up over here. Okay, all the bomb rocks are out. I don't know how many we need. So we'll just grab all of them. I don't think we need all of them. Okay. Now remember, with the bomb rocks, do not whistle them when you throw them, otherwise they will drop them. It's a given. I should have gotten the blues working on this earlier, but oh well. It's fine. So yeah, the final trial, just a bit of information on it. It's not really that difficult. At least this half isn't. I found a lot of people I know have had problems with what you'll see is to be the final boss. And I've seen similar problems with a lot of different people that I've watched on YouTube. But speaking of that, since I got a bit of time here, I'd just like to say that Pikmin is one of the most interesting games to watch people play through, because everyone who plays through it always does it differently. And like everyone has their own set of strategies, especially if they're veterans to the series. They have their own strategies that they use to complete certain areas, which I think is great. So I just think it's one of the better games to play through, because no matter what, whoever it is that plays through it, they always get a different experience. And I can tell you right now that mine has changed a lot over the years. Is that enough? It was. Okay. So believe it or not, I'm going to be doing a different strategy for the final boss. That is far different from many, many, many others. And I'll kind of explain that when we get to it. So what I'm going to do is put all the blues away, because I don't need them. You actually don't need, they're not required for the final boss, and I wouldn't recommend using them, like, at all. I'm going to pull out all the reds that I can get, which apparently is 80. Alright. We're just about at half a day, so that's fine. What is that, 14? We can take a bit more. Alright, here we go. This is it. This is the final boss of Pikmin. This is the Emperor Bullblacks. This foe, well, to put it short, is definitely one of the harder enemies in the game. I'm trying to remember how I do this. I'm not doing it right at all. Right, now I remember. I need a bigger squad. That tongue of his? Yeah, if it gets 100 Pikmin, it's getting 100 Pikmin. Perfect, that's what I want. This is the kind of strategy you want to get into. Once he jumps, call your Pikmin back and then just throw more on him. Now I remember how I do it. Now, when he gets down to half health, he's going to start using a different strategy. A much more different one, and far more dangerous at that. He might do it here. Nope. Nope, he's just doing it. I thought he was about to. Okay, yeah, he's doing it. Ugh. Yeah, his super jump is really hard to predict. He can go pretty much any direction that he wants. There's no way to predict it. There's just no way. Like, I've tried to predict it, he just jumps wherever he wants. Oh, shoot. I kind of wish that there was a shadow underneath, so at least you could see him. Which is why I have to keep my camera up like this, otherwise I can't tell where he's going. I know I make this look really easy, but it's actually not. Okay, I think we got him here. There we go. We got him. And that's it. With that, the Emperor Bullblacks is down, leaving behind the secret safe, and for whatever reason, 5 pellets. That is my way of fighting the boss. I actually don't like using the bomb rock strategy, which is what you're supposed to do, because all around the back of the stage here are bomb rocks. You're supposed to use the yellow Pikmin, just set them in front of him, like throw them, so that when he goes and he licks them up, you get them to drop the bomb rock last minute, and he slaps himself in the face with his own tongue, and then it stuns him. Well, I chose to do it a bit differently. And there's a lot of different ways to beat that guy, but that's the one I usually go with. Obviously there were some casualties, but honestly I feel like I save more doing it that way than I do any other way. But anyways, yeah, the last piece is the secret safe, which isn't even a required piece, which is why you don't need to go to this final area in order to beat everything. And there we go. The very last ship piece. Alright. Wow. So, when you get to the end of the game, whether you get all the ship pieces or you don't, you're going to be given the final analysis. Which will be, you know, parts, days, how many Pikmin survived, and total Pikmin lost. Wow. Okay, so I made first in days, which is 12. That's been my best record for as far as I can remember. Surviving Pikmin is 303. Is because I didn't make that many Pikmin. Total Pikmin lost is 160, which is ouch. Still not even close to my best. And total Pikmin ever sprouted is 4,551, which is for all the times that you played through the game, not just for this run. Because obviously I did not sprout anywhere near close to that many Pikmin. And then on the second page, so this is where the ship pieces come in. All the ones that have a yellow type, those ones are required. The ones in blue are not required. So the Nova Blaster, the Space Float, the Massage Machine, the UV Lamp, and the Secret Safe that's only found in the last area are not required. So if you got all 25 of the required pieces, but missed some of the not required pieces, you will still be able to complete the game. You just won't get the best ending, obviously. Alright, so that was Pikmin. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I can't remember if I've already gone over the story of how I actually got into the series. So, growing up, I grew up when the Nintendo 64 was already dying, and well, dying because the GameCube was coming out, and so of course, me being 5 years old, and it was like 2003, I got a GameCube. And with it, I had a few games, which was Sunshine, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, and I can't remember, I think Luigi's Mansion and Star Fox Assault. I think I had those four. Which, for me, you know, it was really cool. It was my first Nintendo console, and it was actually my first gaming system. And really, from that point on, it was always Nintendo. But I didn't get into Pikmin until I started going over to my aunt's place, and she introduced me to the game. One time we went over there, and I can't remember how or what happened, but she put the game in front of me and turned it on and everything, and when I saw the opening, I thought, oh, I'm like, this is Pokemon, because I saw the front of the ship, I'm like, it's a Pokeball, so it must be Pokemon, and it wasn't, it was Pikmin. And I don't know what it was, but like, I remember at first I was like, what is this? Like, I don't get this, I don't like this. And then I started playing through it more, and I was like, I like this. Like, this is cool. And I remember I didn't actually beat the first game before I got the second one, and I ended up playing the second one more, because I didn't have to worry about how many days were left, but the first game I did. But then I ended up going back and beating the first one, and then the third one came out, and obviously for me, you know, that was a must-buy. But that's kind of just my story on Pikmin. Great game, love it to bits. And with that, we're not exactly done yet. Now what you're seeing is stuff that is just like information on all the enemies. But what's cool about this is a lot of the stuff in these scenes are beta elements. Some of it's more noticeable than others. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is just beta, which means it, you know, this is really early stage games. But yeah, this is just information on all the enemies. There's a few in here that we didn't see, and that's because I'll be doing that in another part. While I am done Pikmin, there's still a few things I want to go over regarding the game. And one of them is to do with stuff like this. So yeah, this is another enemy we didn't see, the Dwarf Bull Bear. They're my favorite in this game, because when they take damage and they try to shake Pikmin off, not only do they shake them off, but they also do a backflip. It's great. I don't think it ever happened, but if you're near a Dwarf Bulborb and they're near a big, like a red Bulborb, they'll scream and wake them up. Now, the Emperor Bullblax, he's in the second game too, but if I ever get around to that, you'll find that he's not anywhere near as difficult as he is in this one. It's actually quite sad. Fiery Blowhogs are kind of interesting. At least I find them interesting. These guys are just plain annoying. Absolutely annoying. Yeah, here's an enemy we haven't seen. This is Gulix. It's nothing special, but I'm still gonna go over it. Because I have to. I said I would go over everything in the game. We did run into these guys a few times, but I didn't really do anything with it. But obviously it just drops nectar, same with this guy. Now the second game introduces different versions of it, which is, you know, obviously nice. But like I said, if you look around in these sections, there's a bunch of beta elements that aren't actually in the game. Mamuda, this is another enemy we haven't seen. It's got interesting information on that one. Pearly Clam, obviously it's in the distant spring, and it's nowhere to be found in that area. Unless you play the challenge mode section, which again I'll talk about in the bonus episode. Didn't actually see these too much after the Forest Navel. They're actually nowhere to be found in the distant spring. Which I think was part of the challenge, was that when you get to the distant spring, like, okay, if you want more Pikmin, you gotta fight for them. Something I didn't show were... well, it doesn't even show it here, but if the Puff Stool sprays Pikmin, they turn into Puffmin, which are evil mushroom Pikmin. I don't know, it's kind of strange. But instead of helping you, they attack you. And these are the Sheer Grubs. Don't think there's any beta elements in this part. But sometimes if you look, the stage is clearly different from what its final version looks like. Okay, this is the one. So that egg that was in, I think this is the first or second part of the distant spring. That's the enemy that you would find inside of that egg, and I will go over that specific enemy. I love this face. This is so great. Like, if you actually pause the Bulborb animations frame by frame, they're hilarious. And it's kind of interesting to see the information on these. Like, they actually, in the second game especially, they give so much information on the enemies of the planet that it's like they created like their own sort of like ecosystem, and like how each one, I guess you could say, supports that ecosystem, and what like it goes after, if it's a predator or prey, or just whatever. But yeah, like again, there's red Bulborbs in the distant spring that was not there. There were no bridges. But with that, that is everything in the game. And I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure you only get that if you get 100% completion. But yeah, that was Pikmin. Definitely one of my favorite games. Okay, so Pikmin is done, but it's not done. We finished the main story, yes, but there's still stuff I do want to go over, which I'll get to in the bonus stuff, and that'll come out a little bit later. But yeah, that was Pikmin, and it's still a lot of fun even to this day. My recommendation, for sure, play this game. But my very personal recommendation is the second game, just because I feel like that's easier for new players. And then go back to the first one. The first one does provide a huge challenge, for sure, but I feel like the second game is a better choice for new players. But, with all that said, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you with the bonus stuff.